an unhealthy competitive streak and always think they're the funniest people in the room, you get the Unfunniest Podcast!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well now, we call this the act of mating.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
I don't think they'll ever stop being funny. We do want to scare your children, everything there. So welcome back. Week 4. We have not been arrested, kicked off the show, kicked off all of our social media. That is a thing. And guess what? We found Jimmy. Jimmy, welcome back.
Jimmy's back.
I'm here. back.
And
I'm back.
As you
better than ever.
As you can see, a special guest, Stan Miller, who we'll get into here soon, who he is, why he's here, and what we're going to do. So, we want to thank everybody for that and welcome you, Stan Miller.
Thank you.
The
hello, everybody.
The high precision we've got here. So. Once again, week 4, we've got a bunch of things to talk about. And for all of those listeners that did reach out, the one or two of you who said less sports, more everything else, you're in for a little more this time. So we heard you. So we do listen to our listeners, the one or two of you guys that are out there. So thank you. Other than my dad, Stan, and all of our families, we do have other listeners. So with that being said, a couple things today. We want to introduce my dad, Stan Miller, who is on the podcast today. So everybody, welcome my dad, Stan.
Hi, Mr. Miller.
Hello, everybody.
So that being said, everyone knows, we talk about Mike and I knowing each other now for, 36 years now. And my dad and everyone else is the friends of ours that we eventually, we know.
Mr. Miller used to welcome me with open arms in the house on D.W. Seaton in Chesterfield, Michigan.
Absolutely. And I don't know why. It just said that you stopped recording, but we should be okay still. I think we should be still good with everything. So we really, wanted to thank you for coming on. Want to talk about a few different things. Actually, hold on
a minute. Can we get there's a 12,000 pound elephant in the room, Miller.
What's that?
What did you do? What did you do last night or this afternoon after all of our conversations last week?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, admit it now.
Yep. Absolutely. I ran out of
phone.
battery.
Yes.
I ran out of battery on my cell phone, if you can believe that or not. And
what a travesty.
It is. It's something I traditionally do not do, but we did have to.
What was the final results of the survey from last week, percentage-wise?
That's a good question. Hold on for 1 second.
Jim, you were not, and since we've found Jim, like finding Waldo,
Well, I watched it.
Well, okay, but what did where did you fall in line of when do you start freaking out about battery percentage?
So I charge mine at night, so I leave for work at 100%, but if I get to work and I get below 50%, I would agree. I'm starting to freak out.
Mr. Miller?
As his
phone's ringing. What battery percentage do you start to get nervous and have to plug in?
I don't get nervous about that at all. So
that's good.
I'm like Jimmy though. I put it on at night when I go to bed, and it's 100% in the morning. So, and then on and off between my games and some rotten off text. Maybe halfway through, I might redo it again in the middle of the afternoon or so.
Mr.
But I've gone down to 5%. So.
I just wanted to say something real quick. I want to apologize in advance for any misconduct that's going to take place within the next hour, but we'll do our best to get our best behavior.
Yeah, Jimmy may swear sometimes, but so.
It's been that way for years.
But it's good to have you on. It's good to see you. You look good.
So
if Mrs. Miller was here, she'd be trying to feed me right now.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
absolutely.
Of course.
She's smiling
Sunday
down
would
on
be
us.
pasta. So
Yeah, she's smiling down on us right now for sure.
All right. So I'm trying to find the results of that poll. I can't find it
Oh,
here.
the delay again. This is why I didn't let you
Alright.
back in my house this week. We had to go back to
I
our
know.
original format, which
I know. Where did
I
I think
much
it's back
prefer.
here? All right. I will find that here. I know we've got it, but I believe that it came in all across the board, Michael. Everybody was at different levels. It was kind of funny that no one put, one thing each level. That's why
While
it's
you
not
when you
showing
are
up.
where you're looking for that, I'm going to. I know we said not as much sports, but the other elephant in the room was this afternoon's end of the Pistons game, which is an
That's a
absolute
foul.
travesty. I'm not the biggest Pistons slappy, but that was a travesty. The end of that game, no call.
Mhm.
Brunson literally jumps into defenders to get a call with far less egregious fouls that are committed, and he gets the call. And then at the end of the game,
Yep.
oh my. And the NBA has already acknowledged, with the clock winding down in the game's final seconds, Pistons star Cade Cunningham missed a step-back jumper, and the NBA says that there was a foul that was not called at the end of the game. So there you go. The NBA has already admitted to the
Put a
egregious
sword in the heart away.
non-call.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
no, that's going to really help.
Listen, okay, one last thing. Every single time down the court, I wish there was one. This is why I remember now why I really stopped watching the NBA. Holy cow. There isn't a time down the court that somebody's not screaming and overreacting of either a call or a non-call or, oh my word, I didn't do that. Holy cow. This is the end of the world because you didn't make listen, the hardest job in sports is an NBA referee. You have to deal with drama literally every 15 seconds. It's not even the NFL. Sure, you see a lot of non-calls, you see calls, whatever. But the NBA, it's just rampant. So there's my sports rant for this afternoon / evening.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching something from New York radio, and New York radio was kind of blasting Jalen Brunson because they asked how many times is he on the floor because he's crazy. So it just got like that. He's constantly on the floor, flopping around, doing everything he can, and it's really funny. So Mike, I got the results from that text. What people said. So 15% said they freak out between 41 to 75%.
Yeah.
31% are the 21 to 40%. 26% say 11% to 20%. And 27% say between 0 and 10% they freak out when their phone gets to that level.
It really was across the board.
It was kind of funny to see everybody, how different they were, how everyone kind of came through. So everybody check your social media, make sure that you check all the different polls we got. It's kind of unique to kind of see some of that. So now we've kind of gone through that and going through all the rest of our stuff. Really wanted to talk a few things to my dad about, who's seen some history here, not saying you're old, but seen some history when it comes to the Detroit sports locations and the Detroit sports. So couple things that I wanted to bring up. So really, to you, what were your top Detroit sports moments that you've seen in the years being a Detroit's fan? Obviously, I'm sure 68, 84, the Red Wings winning it again. But what are some of those memories that you've got that I think are the you'll never forget type moments?
Well, there's always a few, but number one obviously is the idea that the Lions in '57 won the last championship, but they had won. Them and the Cleveland Browns during the '50s were always the big two teams. If
I wasn't alive,
Cleveland didn't win, Detroit won. So it was back and forth like for about 4 or 5 years, and it was really interesting always, to that degree. obviously the biggest thing to me was 68. Well, actually 61. 61, they were in it with the Yankees for years. That's when Maris and Mantle both hit all the home runs and all that too. But that's with 61. They won over 100 games, but I think the Yankees had won like 108 or 109 that year or something and beat them out. And that was when, again, there was a winner in the American League and a winner in the National League. There were no playoffs or things along that line.
Yeah, you went right to the
in 68, again, was a big. Yep. Yeah, whoever won the American League, whoever won the National League, played the World Series. I mean, that was it. 67, they on the last day of the season when they lost on a double play when they were playing Boston, and 68 is when they won it all. And that's what I was telling Mark earlier. This team right now, this current team is playing just like 68. Again, everybody contributed in 68, no matter who you were. Willie Horton had 27 home runs. He led the team at that particular time. But everybody else was, had 10 or 12 or 15 or something to that degree. And every day somebody else was winning it for them. I mean, I was at the park. I went to see 6 games that year. So, and that was when I first started to go out with Katie, and she went to 10 games with me, and she was 10-0. Whenever she went, they won.
Mrs. Miller was undefeated.
And then
Exactly.
and she complained that I didn't take her to the World Series because I had tickets for the World Series. So, lower deck right field, $12.
$12 for the World Series.
Is there a pillar in your way?
$12 to see a World Series. Pardon?
I'm sure there was a pillar in the way, just like the old Cleveland
Oh, yeah.
Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, and again, the Red Wings winning it, that was the Red Wings were always big in this town. We used to go to games on Sunday night. They didn't start till 8:00. You paid $2 to go all the way to the top of Olympia and sit, and you was standing room, but you could sit in the aisles up there.
That's pretty good.
And there would be 5 or 6 of us. We'd take somebody to get in line at 4:00, and then we'd come back at about 7:30 when they started to open up and all that too, so we could get our tickets and go up. And
it's funny, a kid like me growing up at least until I was 14 years old in Columbus, and hockey was basically non-existent. And then when we moved up here in '89, and I remember coming over, and you guys are the ones that really kind of got me onto hockey. And I remember thinking, this hockey thing is as big as, of course, being a Browns fan, it's as big as football up here, which I was shocked at. And yeah, right. And then I just I kind of piggybacked off of you guys and started to love hockey after that. And then I realized why it was so popular. So
Absolutely.
yeah, 97 was awesome.
Mhm.
That was one of the coolest experiences.
Yeah,
97.
So to that effect, Dad,
the Red Wings, they still hold the record. 25 straight years of making the playoffs. So
Yeah.
It couldn't let you 25 years without
His
making it
entire
now.
career.
Nah, they'll be in it next year.
So what is your of all the different stadiums obviously you've got Tiger Stadium, you've got Comerica Park, you've been to Ford Field, you've been to the Silver Dome, you've been to Cobo Arena probably for some stuff there. What was your favorite what's your favorite Detroit venue that you've been to for different sports for seeing games?
Brick Stadium. Well, I mean, that's where he started. That's where, it was the best, no matter where you sat for the most part. I mean, again, unless you sat in the upper deck behind a pole, but for the most part, everything else was wide open to that degree. And you were close to the field, not like some of the stadiums right now and all that too. So, but yeah, Brick Stadium really was always, was the place. That's where, again, they used to have a high school football game there that the Catholic school winner and the public school winner would play a game there, and it was called the Kids Bowl or something like that. I forgot exactly what the bowl game again
was that,
but
that
it was
wasn't the Boys Bowl,
it was a big to do.
There it is. Briggs
Boys
Stadium.
Bowl. I'm sorry. Boys Bowl.
Yeah, the Boys Bowl. That's right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was one of the other ones there. Yeah, the Boys Bowl. Good Lord, that's been a long time ago. Briggs Stadium. What was it? Navin Field, then Briggs Stadium, then Tiger Stadium. Yeah. All the different years there. So
now it's the home of condominiums and the
PAL. Police Athletic League.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a cool place. Bobby played there back about 4 or 5 years ago. Really neat.
All right. To that effect,
Mark and me were at the last game that they played at Tiger Stadium.
Were you really?
That's the last game of the first game.
That's cool.
All right. So, Dad, we've got some questions for you. So your slang. So obviously all your slang that you knew years ago, but I'll be honest, I didn't get most of these right. So if we had Charlotte here, I'm sure she'd help you out. But you're going to talk about what slang is it Gen Z right now, whatever it is. So what is Delulu short for? DELULU short for? Delusional, delicious, Delaware, or delayed? We're even giving you some multiple choice with this to make it easier.
I was going to say, is this multiple choice?
It is.
All the above.
Ah, good one.
Delicious something.
You think it's delicious?
What is it?
Delicious.
It is delusional. Just like Ward.
I was gonna go with delusional.
All right. What does it mean when someone says, do it for the plot? To write a book that has an interesting narrative, to watch an exciting TV show, to stick with the plan or scheme in order to achieve success, to take control of your own life and make it more interesting.
What does it mean?
I think it's one about success.
Success? All right, let's see. Nope. To take control of your own life, make it more interesting.
Do it for the wow. Where do they come up with this stuff? Next.
I don't know. What does lives rent free in your head mean? You can't stop thinking about something. You live in a van or a camper with few possessions. You're out of touch with the reality. You live in someone else's home without paying them rent.
Reality.
Can't stop thinking about something.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. Live rent.
Exactly. All right. Define mid. Terrible. Exceptional. In the middle or average, or short for midnight.
All right, Mr. Miller, which one?
Define mid.
These are riveting.
The third one.
All right. I think you got that one right. And I think we'll end on this next one. All right. No, I don't know what that is, but I think this next one is a good one. All right. You should know this one. If you don't get this one, we're going to end this podcast today. What does the acronym GOAT stand for?
That's when they're the greatest of all times.
Excellent.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. So we appreciate that you finally
what do
got
we
the one
have for
right
Mr.
there.
Miller as
I
a
don't
prize?
Hey, can I add a quick question?
Absolutely.
All right, Mr.
Go ahead.
Miller, not to put you on the spot, but obviously you got your son Mark here and Mike. They grew up together. What's the greatest story you could tell us, whether it's sports related, negative, positive, embarrassing, that you can share with us?
Well, there were many times when Mike spent the night over. So, and sometimes I think between both of them, I think they probably had a couple more Werners than they needed. But
Murders.
We were good kids. What are you talking about?
But everything was pretty. We always had a lot of the guys over one way or another. Even some of my sister-in-laws would say, "You guys always have somebody." We says, well, first of all, we know who they're with. Second, we know where they're at. So if it meant bringing pizza every night, then they got pizza every night too. So, I mean, we had a pool table in the basement and a hoop out in the driveway. So.
Oh wow, the hoop! I forgot about that.
Well, Mark decided you and Mrs. Miller went away. I don't know where you guys went that one time. Mark and his wisdom decided to have a party.
Well, no, I heard about that one too. That was our 25th anniversary when we went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Come back and there was a hole in the wall, and we heard that the police had been there at least once.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll bring up some more stories later, Jimmy. But this leads us to a topic you guys didn't want to go over, but I think, being us good Catholic schoolboys that we went to, there was something that took place this weekend and something that's going to take place here soon. So I really want to go over this, and we're going to talk about America's new favorite game show.
Ah, that's a catchy tune.
Now let's play everybody's favorite game show. Who wants to be the Pope? So, but we're going to talk about this a little bit different.
What color smoke is going to rise from the ashes? Go ahead.
So, let's talk about how you guys didn't want to talk about this, but let's talk what ways I think this is where AI has the greatest invention of all time. Who wants to be the Pope? Let's imagine these as game shows. So tell me which one would be your favorite if we had all these. So what if we put all the contestants that could possibly be Pope on Jeopardy?
So, just the way your mother likes it, Trebek.
You got clever with this. I like it.
Exactly.
We meet again, Trebek.
Trebek's back from the grave after Easter. All right, so we got Jeopardy. We got Jeopardy. So how about if all the popes went on The Amazing Race?
Even better.
Yeah, I don't know half of them would survive. I think that's great seeing all the numbers on there.
Half of them wouldn't be able to step over those railroad ties. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, so that one's one. What if they all went on Wheel of Fortune? But that they had divine intervention, so they would know what each one of them would be. This one's my favorite. You put them all on the Survivor Island. The tribe is spoken.
John Paul.
God
He looks like he's in quicksand.
What is my good one too? What if they were all like on the real popes of the Vatican City?
Yes.
And they all had their tell-all at the end of everything. I think that'd be hilarious there too.
Yep.
And I think so. Let's forget the normal ways that they are going to elect Pope. I think that's boring. I think they need to come up with something different to make it really fun. But there's some things I wanted to show you.
You're going to get a call from the Vatican tomorrow. You realize that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, Mike. It doesn't make any difference for you and I. We're not Lutherans. We're not Catholics. Oh, Stan had to let Goldie back in. But okay, here we go. Some questions here. These are live betting odds that you can bet online.
Will the next Pope be 70 plus years? Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. Will the next Pope be black? I have a feeling that's talking about the African nations. Mm-hmm. How many rounds will it take to elect a Pope? The nationality of the next Pope. I like this second one here. A country that has never had a Pope. And I'm just going to say my favorite only because of the name.
Pierre Battista Pizzabella. Pierre Battista Pizzabella. Bella, whatever.
If you had Pope Pizzaballa, just think of the marketing campaigns you could have if you had anything like that.
How do we advocate for him being the next Pope? Let's make that a new goal of the Unfunniest podcast.
I think so. He's our new favorite when it comes to that. But then look at some of the other names. You got Gianfranco Ravasi,
Dominic Duca, Angelo Bagnasco.
He's got too many names. Oscar Andreas Rodriguez Maridiaga.
Oh, the man has 3 names. 4. I know. Jeez. Cristobal.
This guy must be Richard
Marx.
Yeah, must be Richard Marx's brother.
Yeah, Richard
So-
Marx is in the running for the next pope. This is
right
great.
here waiting for you. So, it's
Hold
just
on
like
to the night. Oh man, sorry, I had to
It's-
break out in an acapella.
it's like the president of the United States. Can we get anybody that's under the age of 80 to do it and have something and to be able to lead anything? But I think it's hilarious, and we're all going to wait for the white smoke to come back, and Goldie needs to come back in. So Goldie,
Dad's
back
on the
in here in
hot
a
seat.
second. Exactly. So we talked about some of the reality TV shows. We talked about something. Do you guys have any what's the word I'm looking for here? Guilty pleasures. I know, Ward, you don't watch much TV. Jimmy, what is your guilty pleasure when you watch television? The dumbest show that you watch that everyone would be embarrassed to know.
Jersey Shore.
The fist pumping.
I don't know. It's just entertaining, but at the same time, it's just like it's
I
dumb.
think we should create a reality TV show of who can have the worst duck lips.
It's going to be you, Michael.
Me? I don't have duck lips.
Dad, any
These poor
crazy
people.
TV shows that you watch?
Well, most of the stuff is that way nowadays anyway, but no, I watch the Oak Island situation that these guys are digging for this treasure that's been around for 200 and some years. The Curse of Oak Island on History Channel.
There's one.
But it's funny, I don't know where these guys are getting all their money, but
There's one that Kathy and I watch on Sunday nights. And have you guys heard of the 90-Day Fiance?
Oh my. No.
So
Please enlighten me with what the
no.
90-Day Fiance is where people go overseas and they meet somebody and they want to bring them over. So they get this visa that they have to come, they can come to the United States, but they have to get married within 90 days. And they have to show that they legitimately met. They're not just there for to get a green card. They're not just there to try to become citizens. And it is some of the worst and best TV you'll ever see. Hopefully this can come through. Just a couple minutes. Can you guys hear this?
Be lazy and go to do some workout, honey. That's what you have to do.
Just like, catch my breath real quick. There's one thing.
Hey, what's the camels?
It's
How to
not
sleep.
that. Well,
Lazy.
And they're going to come up with one guy, Big Ed. Oh my God, he is the greatest.
I'm gonna be a supermodel. Kiss me.
Oh, I
I'll
remember
be bearded barley.
Let me see if I can find one here.
Beside the green grass. Swing, swing. Swing the swing. ¿Tú me estás terminando?
Look, she's not even like, just happened to be near me when I'm like,
You ruined everything.
Yeah, there's definitely a big thing of people not being with.
내가 또 실수를
Right, people.
할까봐 내가 그 돈을 또 낭비를 할까봐.
Nice hair.
I'll make another mistake. I'll waste that money again.
Is that a toupee?
I don't know, it's gotta be.
Translator.
Were those her nails?
Mm-hmm. Oh, this guy's bad.
How do you watch this stuff?
It's hilarious.
I feel
You just gotta
dumber
see
in the
some-
90 seconds that I've watched. We're all dumber for watching this.
Cody. Cody.
Yeah,
Cody.
no, coach.
Coat. Coat.
Yeah.
So yes, that is our dumb what we watch. That is the.
I tried to watch The
crap that we
Bachelor
watch.
one time, and I almost had to go outside and vomit. Or
Oh, it's horrible.
Bachelorette, or
No,
people waste
it's
their time
miserable,
on this
that
Oh,
stuff.
that's comical, especially the first episode. They all introduce
I don't.
themselves.
You're talking about somebody who just watched Breaking Bad over the basically over Christmas break for the first time.
I still haven't watched it.
TV I watched.
I haven't either.
Yeah. So that's
Good?
the fun stuff. My dad's. Did you like it? Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Didn't watch
Huh? What's that? No, I was going to say, I thought it started a little slow, but boy, it hook, line, and sinker, it pulls you right in. It's crazy. It was really good. I was actually kind of upset it had to end.
It filmed right where I used to live in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
that's
what
where I used to live.
Yeah.
That's kinda cool.
Very good. I mean, it's what, 12 years since it ended, so that's how far behind I am. But whatever.
So, did you watch The Sopranos? Was Sopranos one of the shows you guys watched?
Becky and I used to watch it like on was it on Sunday nights? I think we used to watch it. Not religiously, but yeah, we kind of kept up on it.
Yeah. If you haven't, The Righteous Gemstones. If you like the Penny Power stuff. Yeah, he's got to let Goldie in and out. Goldie's old. Oh, there she is.
Ah, Goldie.
Hey, Goldie.
Goldie, stick your tongue
Texas
out.
Ranger.
That's a lovely dog you have there, sir. Mind if I pet it?
So
15 and a half, almost 16.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
We're gonna talk about this again, only because we are in Detroit and everything with podcast stuff. But the Lions draft years ago, for the past how many years, the Lions draft was the Super Bowl for us here in Detroit. That's all we cared about. That's all we wanted. Who was our next savior? Who was that next guy going to be? I could honestly say I think I watched the draft for a total of 15 minutes this year.
Yeah,
I didn't watch anything. And Jimmy, you're the biggest draft guy here. How much did you watch of it?
Not a lot.
So you brought up.
I can't believe the amount of people that actually show up shoulder to shoulder
and watch
and
this thing.
Stand there for that amount of time.
It's crazy.
I mean, even in Detroit, it was impressive. But like, how do you do it?
Mark, you brought it up last week because you were talking about the rumor was that Shador was going to go to the Browns number 2. I don't think I've ever seen such a precipitous fall. But if you actually look at it, and how, if this isn't a wake up call to young athletes, college athletes, and this isn't my idea. I was watching a guy on ESPN, I think the other day, and he made a really good point about this is the NFL going. College football, college sports is taking it too far. You guys don't have control. You're not going to have all this hullabaloo. You're not going to hold colleges and even, it kind of seemed like maybe they were going to even get into the realm of holding the NFL hostage. And that's what Shador and even Neon, Dion, whatever. But it's a great point. Like, if you're going to have that kind of pompous, attitude, and you're going to flaunt all this stuff, let's have a little more humility in sports again. I'll harken back to my old phrase that I tell the kids all the time. When you lose, be quiet. When you win, be even quieter. I know, old man yelling at clouds.
Well, the last time I saw something like this was, if you remember Malik Willis, a couple years ago. Like, he was a quarterback out of Liberty. And nobody really knew much.
Malik Willis.
Willis. Nobody knew much. He went to Auburn first and went to Liberty. And he was rumored to be the number 1 or number 2 pick. And this would have been 2022, in the 2022 draft. And that's the year that, who was it that went? That was Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Stingley Jr., Sauce Gardner, Kayvon Thibodeau. Those guys all went. They kept saying he was going to be the number 1 overall, number 2 pick. And everybody, in fact, I remember thinking I wanted the Lions to pick him. He fell and he fell and he fell and he ended up going to the 3rd round. Not even as bad as what Shador Sanders did going to the 5th round. But that to me was the closest thing when it really came to it, dropping the 3 rounds. And, it just goes to show you really, and I think what it was is he had good agents that kept hyping him up. And I think if it wasn't for Shador Sanders' dad, I don't think he would have been considered a top 3 or 4 pick. He was the one that kept saying that, and everyone kept believing it.
Mike, you got to be pissed about Sanders going to Cleveland.
Shador? Listen, Again, I hardly watched any of the draft, but to take Gabriel from Oregon and then draft Shador at what was he, the 144th pick in the 5th round, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, I don't know what Barry's doing. Whatever. That's, you know what that is? That's selling tickets. That's exactly what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's taking a flyer. I mean, there were a couple games that he played great, but you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? Did somebody, Jimmy or my dad?
What's going to happen to Watson, the quarterback?
He tore his ACL. He tore his Achilles.
Yeah, he retore his ACL. He's done. I mean, that's just
it's Achilles.
A formality, huh? Or was it Achilles? Yeah,
his Achilles. Doing a dance on the side of the road.
Oh.
He tore his Achilles, which means then the Browns, when they go after him, they can basically say his contract's null and void because of what he did.
Yeah.
So that's what they're hoping for. And Jimmy Haslam came out and said it was the biggest mistake they made drafting him.
Yeah. Well, certainly.
So
here was the reaction. There's the reaction from Dion. Can you guys see my screen?
He punted him.
Man punted Baxter. Yeah, sorry.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think we've got.
Can I go on my rant about driving? Can this be
fine.
Ward's weekly rant on driving? We're gonna go back to once again left lane drivers. So coming back from Ohio, I went down to the Catawba Island Boat Show yesterday. So anybody that's in the industry watching, it was actually a pretty good show. Weather wasn't great, but the attendance was good. But anyways, driving back today, there were two on I-75 North in Monroe County. There were 2 RVs, 3 lanes of traffic. Guess what lane they were in? The left.
The right.
No, they're in the left lane. For the love of everything that is holy, get out. Listen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make up my sign, and it's going to say, "Get the blank out of the left lane." And then as I go by, I'm going to hold it up on my driver's side.
Why don't you just get one of those strolling LED signs?
Oh, that's a good idea too.
Yeah, I've actually seen that before.
And then of course the habitual speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. Use your crew. This is another public address announcement. Use your cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
Holy mackerel.
I hate that when someone's going so slow and you come up to pass them and then all of a sudden they just go right by you. Just fly right by you in the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's Ward's weekly rant about drivers. What?
You should just run for governor.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to have to get this segment sponsored. Maybe we'll get Ben as a law firm. Ben's rant, Mike's rant of the week, sponsored by the Shock Law Firm. They have to bail Mike out of jail for any time with that.
Yeah.
You're kind of getting me fired up. Hang on, I got to check on something real quick. Sorry for the distraction.
Jimmy's coming. He's in the yard.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
We're gonna get a tour of the RV next time, Jimmy.
Yeah, we want to tour the RV, Jim.
That there, Clark, is an RV. Don't you go fall in love with it
next time.
Too much. Well, I think we spent about almost 40 minutes, you guys' time going over some different stuff here, but
where's the
got a week? What are we looking forward to? What's going on this week with everybody? Oh, there we go.
Oh,
different view.
Oh, different view.
Change the background here a little bit.
Hey, the other thing that I don't know why I don't think I've just noticed it, but the amount of 1-800 call you know who, or even the other lawyer, all these billboards. So I'm going to say this again: 75 North, and I'm not going to give any type of free advertising for these blood-sucking lawyers. 3 billboards in a row in less than a mile of the same Jack, you know what, we want to know why our insurance rates are so high, because we live in this litigious, happy society that they've removed all the boundaries from the caps on how much you can sue. These lawyers are this is unbelievable. I cannot. It's crazy to me, the amount of billboards and the amount of radio advertising and TV advertising. You want to know who's making all the money? Those guys right there.
You get out of my face, or I'm gonna roundhouse your ass.
That's right. Man, you get me on these
Mike's gonna
rants.
roundhouse them.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's ridiculous, and it's. I remember as a joke, and actually talk with Ben. He's going to come on with us here in the next couple of weeks and talk.
Yeah, no
about
offense to
things.
you good lawyers like Ben. That's not it at all.
So we're going to ask him, and I told him we're going to have to come up with some of the dumbest law questions, like, can I sue for this? Can I sue for that? Can I sue for this? And I told him that we'd come up with some really great ones to really test and see if we can get his blood roiling.
You know what I told Becky when we were driving today too. I said, unfortunately, there's probably plenty of people that see these billboards or all these advertisements on TV and they go, I can't wait to get hurt because I'm going to get rich. Seriously, there's absolutely people out there that are doing that.
Okay, here's something to talk about here. Let's bring my dad back in. My grandmother, my dad's mom. Dad, explain why Grandma had a wooden leg.
Well, when she was young, you got to remember, again, the same thing when I was younger too. When I was about 7, 8 years old, there were streetcars that basically were like, in other words, like buses, if you will, that ran along quite a few of those streets and all that too. Well, the story I got, and I didn't get the whole thing totally, but the story I got was the fact that, again, she was out playing going to a park or whatever, which was only a few blocks from our house and all too. And when I can't remember how old she was, but anyway, she ended up underneath a streetcar, and again, they were metal type or steel type wheels that were on this track and all that too, and she lost her leg because one of them ran over her leg, so she ended up basically with a prosthetic, for the rest of her life and all too.
Yeah.
Again, at that time too, there wasn't anything they could do as far as making something so that she could walk around differently. She actually had a wooden leg that she had to put on every day and take off every night now too.
So the reason I bring that up, you talk
But
about.
as far as my understanding is, I don't think there was ever, an attorney involved or whatever. I think she got some kind of settlement, but it was, next to nothing in that sense. Something like that would have happened today. Again, it would have been worth millions to that degree. Because apparently it wasn't the consideration was it wasn't her fault, apparently. So
right. Yeah, not to discount
gets
the
hit by a
actual
bus.
Huh?
Yeah. Now a kid gets hit by a bus, that family's multimillionaires.
Yeah, again, listen, I'm not discounting. I'm not discounting the actual legitimate injuries where there is a legitimate reason to sue somebody, to put it bluntly. But these lawyers are on 24/7 call. They know where they scan the police scanners. They are literally at the hospital at the drop of a hat in some of these accidents. So I just, sorry, again, I got off of my rant because I saw all these billboards over. I actually traveled with a sales guy, a sales manager from one of the water sports companies that we deal with. And he traveled with me last week, and he's from Canada. And he said the same thing. He goes, I cannot believe all these billboards for these lawyers. He goes, this is incredible. I said, yep, that's it. We counted I think it was between Ann Arbor and Jackson. We were traveling west on 94. I think there was 25 and about a 40-mile stretch. That's incredible. I keep saying incredible. But
the irony of those situations when they all come out with, well, we don't charge you anything unless we win or whatever.
Right.
We're the only firm that does that. Every firm does it. Every lawyer does that to that degree. They're not going to first of all, they're not going to take your case unless they know they're going to be getting something out of it.
Exactly.
You mentioned you mention auto, or you mention something happened in a factory or something like that, boy, they'll be at your door in 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Taking all your information. But you mentioned something that's you think is petty. You slipped in a supermarket or something to that degree. Well, what were you doing with that? Well, okay, somebody will call you. Well, they never call them back because, again, more than likely that may not be that big of a deal, especially if they find out that, you didn't fracture anything or break anything or whatever. So
you don't pay unless we win. Oh, where do I sign?
Real quick, you look at that unfortunate case of the Oxford shooting, and you get the parents charged with involuntary slaughter. I'm not going to make my personal opinions on this, but that's never been heard of. But I mean, that's just a prime example.
Yeah.
But 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, things were different.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Once again, Mr. Miller has left his chair. Goldie.
And Goldie is going.
Goldie has to go pee again. Harness.
You're a popular man, Mr. Miller.
Ah, man, he's like a bookie.
All right.
Too funny. Now that's why I think it'll be fun to have Ben on in a couple of weeks or whenever he gets a chance, because I think it'll be fun to talk about some of the stuff that he always made a joke and said, do you really want to there's certain courts that you can go in and sit in the afternoons and really enjoy some of the stuff that goes on, because you can't believe how people show up to court. Crazy. It's insane that people don't respect it for there. But no, I agree that if I think Kathy and I talked too, if it wasn't for the law firm's advertisements on TV, where would the advertising come from? Because it's all
pharmaceutical drug companies.
News. Yeah. It's the local news. It's all the advertising.
We can save that topic for another day too.
Yeah, absolutely. Local news.
All right, Miller, I've got this week's idea for a poll.
All right, what polls do we want to do this
Drum
week?
roll, please.
Hold on, let me get that for you.
How early do you arrive to the airport for a flight? How early do you get to the airport for a flight? Are you like me, who gets there probably 4 hours early? Or are you like some of the other people that I know that are probably literally the last one to get down the jetway before they turn the key and lock the door?
I'm going 2 hours.
You go 2 hours, Jimmy? Dad, when you would travel, how early would you get to the airport?
Usually, after 9/11, then it was a couple hours at least. Before 9/11, again, I was one of the ones where I might get there a half hour before the flight or so.
Yeah.
I've got pre-check and whatever status and stuff like that. Pre-check is the greatest thing in the world. If you don't have it, long story short, get the Nexus card, because you get pre-check and you get global entry in with that for Canada. But I remember there's been times I get to the airport. I always park at airlines parking. I'll get there an hour before my flight to airlines parking, and then I'm in, and by the time I park there and I get through security, I'm at the gate 45 minutes early. It's like nothing. Pre-check, you get through fast. You just learn how to go through it. But typically, I try to get there at least 2 hours. But most
that's pretty much
the time. Yeah.
My esteemed colleague, Mr. Terry Palmer, laughs at me because he says, "Yes, we're going to get there 4 hours early, so Mike Ward doesn't freak out about getting." Stuck and not making the flight. It's a little exaggeration. Huh?
Well,
good point.
But it's different too when you're traveling for work and you're traveling personal. If I'm traveling for work, I don't care. It's not if my boss is listening. I don't pay attention to that. But you got a court. Your company's going to pay, or you'll do something different. It's a different story. If you're traveling personal, it's your own money. No. I'm 6 hours early. I'm making sure we're there. I'm making sure everything's set. And there's going to be no issues when it comes to that. But yeah, if I remember you talk about I remember I don't know if I've ever told you this, when I was in Seattle, I was trying to get to Portland, and I knew there was an early flight because there's always early flights from Seattle to Portland. And I get through, and so I was working for Nokia. I had a whole box of phones and everything else. I go through, and TSA tells me that I pack my bag too efficiently, and I need to stop doing that because they can't scan through it.
Is
and
that too efficiently?
Right. I had too many things packed in there too perfectly, so they couldn't see through it. And then I made the mistake of saying a comment of, you may work too hard for the money you earn. That caused me to miss 3 straight flights, and everything was taken out of every bag.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Go over to the right.
Yeah. Sir, if you could step to the man in the rubber glove, he'll be very gentle.
How about all those times coming back and forth to Canada?
Yeah, some of the smart, you know what, Alec, remarks that we used to have for those guys.
Were you in the car? There were 2 times I remember. The first one was the guy had us there for like 20 minutes, just looking at us, and then just turned. I think I was driving, turned to me and said, "What time is it?" Like, it's 2:15. He's like, "All right, you can go." It's like 20 minutes, just sat there, didn't say a word. But then what time it is?
I remember that.
And then the second time was, and you got to remind me who it was. I guarantee you were in the car. The person says, "Do you have anything to declare?" And I think Joe Schaefer yelled out, "Bobby's drunk. That's what I have to declare." Yep. Oh yeah.
Not exactly.
We didn't take that as an international border crossing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do kids?
You remember my buddy Ryan Gargano?
Oh, the cage fighter.
Cage Fighter.
Yeah, Cage Fighter is now a fan of ours, by the way. So Cage Fighter, if you're listening, hello, Cage Fighter.
Yes.
Nice.
Cage Fighter. So he'll love this story. So we always used to take his conversion van. You know, it's got the blinds on the side.
He had one of those?
Yeah. It was his mom's, and then once he got his license, he started driving it. Well, he was big into trading magic cards at the time. So he had all these totes in there with magic cards. So every time we'd cross the border, they're like, "What are all these totes?" And
Magic the Gathering.
And they're like, "All right, yeah, you're going to need to pull off. We're going to have to search your entire vehicle." He's like, "I told you guys we shouldn't take this thing."
That's great.
Oh my
Cage
Lord.
Fighter had a conversion van. That is phenomenal. Listen,
and it had the TV. It had the TV at the bottom, in between the passenger and the driver's seat.
Yes.
Did it have? Was it a VCR that it had, or did it have like an antenna?
But, it's a great vehicle to take to Canada, but we always got checked.
dude, you have to find pictures of that thing. That's your task for next week.
Lost you.
Oh, where'd we go?
We got to find pictures of that.
Did I mute? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. I think Jimmy's headphones went out.
Oh.
So
I can.
Earth Jim. We found Jimmy and then we lost him again.
He pushed his headphones on. So
hey, you asked about this coming week.
Yeah, what's going on this week?
Final week of preparation before the boat goes in the water next Monday, Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo.
Wow.
Boat goes in the water. Yes.
By the way, just so everybody knows, we will be having a live episode come from the marina this summer.
Yep.
So I would love to say it'd be 4th of July, but we I don't know if 4th of July would work, but we will have a live show from the water or from the marina, and we will be taking care of that this year.
We're going to have some guests from the marine industry. Most of you that know me know I work in the marine industry, so I'm going to bring on some of the leaders and brightest stars of our industry, trying to make it better. Got some technicians that we're going to interview. I know one in particular, his name's Chris Hammond. He does a phenomenal job. He's, in my opinion, single-handedly turning the industry around, and diagnostic work that is taking, basically a customer comes in with a boat, and to make a long story short, and people and dealers tell that customer it's going to be 3 to 4 weeks. Some of the stuff that Chris is doing to eliminate downtime and get people back in the water is nothing short of remarkable. And he's doing a lot of education in the industry. So we're going to have him on, do a little interview with him. Yeah. So it'll be cool. He's done, like I said, he's doing a really good thing for our industry. And the goal is to get more people involved in boating, be on the water, and God forbid something happens to the boat, get it back on the water quickly, especially up here with such a short season that we have, Memorial Day to Labor Day. Jim, have you been to the boat yet? Psych ward?
I have not. I was going to go yesterday, but
it was kind of crappy out. Yeah.
It was a busy Saturday. You didn't know how much time you were going to have. Yeah, absolutely. So, Jimmy, what are your plans for the week other than getting psych ward in the water?
I gotta head to the Hilton in Troy a couple days this week for some new computer training. Can't wait.
Nice. Figure out how to use your
sounds
camera.
riveting.
Yeah. Huh?
That sounds riveting. Nothing like new computer training.
The only thing good about it is lunch will be provided. That'd be
Free
ready
lunch.
at 10:30.
All right.
Hot
Now
dog.
the important one, Dad, other than bingo and working out and all the rest of your little things at the activity center over there, what big plans you got for the week?
Well, I am on spring break right now because my granddaughters are all in Florida, so I don't have any driving to do. So so I got a new and I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow. So
I thought that you meant that the retirement center had a spring break going on. I'm like, whoa, Mr. Miller, ladies in bikinis coming around, eh?
yeah, right. as long as it's finished by 4 o'clock. So
Yeah. The old man taking all the bingo stuff. Myself, it is after last week's exciting math fair that we had at Charlotte School. Incredible, by the way. And all the other things. This is going to be a busy week of driving to schools in the state of Michigan. I'm going to go to Michigan State. I think I'm going to go to Central one of the days. We're going to do some fun stuff here in Michigan for our jobs.
Well, you can wear your green TCT Spartan hat, which will double as a Michigan State hat. So you're all set.
Absolutely. And then when
Jimmy,
I go
did
to
you see
Central,
that? Miller
I'll
had
wear all
that
my Western stuff.
last week.
I didn't see that.
I let this man in my house and he had a Michigan State hat on, but actually it was a Trinity Clinton Township Spartans hat.
How does that work? Isn't that like trademarked?
Yeah, it's in schools. They don't say anything for the little young schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
TCT
All right.
Spartans.
Exactly. Trinity Clinton Township. So, guys, I want to say thank you guys thank you for everybody for being a part this week. Dad, thank you for coming on.
Thanks,
Ginny,
Mr.
glad
Miller.
that you're back and safe. Michael, it's been a pleasure this week again. So,
as always,
we're gonna talk about some things next couple of weeks. We got, like Mike said, we got some guests coming up. We got some really fun people from around the country that'll be joining us as well for some stuff. So wanted to say thank you to everybody and hope that you guys have a great week. And we
thank God we found Jimmy.
Week. Found Jimmy.
Mr. Miller, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks again.
See you
Mr.
guys.
Miller.
Enjoy
Nice
spring.
seeing all of you.
We're coming to your condo association to visit very soon.
Just got to do it before 5 o'clock.
Anytime.
Yeah, as long
Book it till
as
Vista.
spring break still.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. Have a great week.
All right, guys.
See you
Take care.
guys. Hey.